Half of Wawa and the Wawa Foundation. The nonprofit PAL serves Philadelphia youth ages 6 to 18, offering programs that are free, safe, and fun. Now more than ever, PAL needs your support to keep kids safe. To learn more, visit www.phillypal.org.
It's Borgata's 20th anniversary. Come celebrate with over 20 wheels during the Road to Riches giveaway. This May and June, 1,200 players will win a share of $1.2 million in prizes, including 4 luxury golf carts and 2 Lexus SUVs. Earn entries for drawings held every Saturday and 2 grand prize drawings on May 27th and June 24th. The Road to Riches giveaway, only at Borgata. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
How much if we do our...
I just did Inside Story today, Channel 6. You'll see it on Sunday at 11:30. The La Festa suit again, Dan. If you missed it, the Michael Kors tie, I thought, what the heck? I can get 2 wears out of it, then it go back in the closet for another 20 years.
You pressed it, right? Why not use it twice?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, I didn't press it.
You didn't press it?
No, it was pressed before.
Oh, okay.
The first time. You
Yeah,
shouldn't be able to wear it twice. How many times can you wear a suit if you don't press it? I'd say 2 is my maximum, given the movement around.
I don't think I've ever
everything else.
gotten my jacket pressed.
Oh, my God. That's it. All right.
maybe on
Another
the list.
startling fact. Okay. So I'm told that Katie Ford at one point was ahead. That's why they went nuts. And they've spent $1 million trying to scare people into something that can't happen, won't happen. And she's against it. Anyhow, a constitutional amendment they claim to ban abortion. Now, this is a big race. Whoever wins this will have, if we win it, we. Well, you can't be saying it. What do you mean we? Yeah, I'm on one team. Progressive, Shapiro, Democrats, they're on the other team. That's always on this. So if we win it, we have control of the House. That makes a big difference. Right there in Delaware County, you know anybody? We'll get the parameters of the district so you know who to call, who you might know. All right. Our Joan Cullen, if listening, love to get her on. I didn't want to put her on as a guest today, but the Penn Ridge School Board, which since she left, I haven't agreed all the time with everything they've done, but the Penn Ridge School Board approved a policy just in the last day, 7-1 vote that is causing maelstrom and anger from the ACLU and all the others. And it says, no person shall enter a restroom, locker room, or shower that is designated for the use of the opposite sex. Oh, my God. It says students use group bathrooms in line with their sex rather than their gender identity. Isn't this really finally, don't we have it right in front of us what the core of this is? And these trans kids or their parents or the ACLU and others are saying, yeah, that's the problem. We don't see it that way. It's not your gender. It's fluid. It's whatever you say it is that day. Or, hey, I can see at lunch, the kid, better go to bathroom before lunch, wash my hands. I'm in the boys' bathroom, toward the end of lunch. Oh, I had a lot of soda here. I think I'll urinate in the girls' bathroom. I mean, really, what would they say, Dan, if I got somebody on in that? They would say, you're just mocking this. Oh, really? I mean, if gender is fluid, what's the time limit? Isn't that what we ought to be asking the ACLU and others? Like, can you change from second to second? That's always the way to expose these idiots and their arguments, which is just to take it to its logical conclusion. If you're gender fluid and you're saying you have to sign a document, hey, kid, come on now, give me a break. You got to at least be male for this week. Next week, you can be female then. Then you can switch back. Why? Where's the consistency? The policy prohibits transgendered students from using bathrooms that correspond with their gender identities. Strategist with the ACLU says the ACLU believes the policy is illegal and, just as importantly, harmful to trans and non-binary students. Number of community members voiced concern about the policy. Says that the Penridge parent, Adrian King, former Democratic candidate for the board, says the board has been very clear the direction they're going in, and she doesn't like it. We're deeply impacted by this. Somebody tell me what in the world. Now, they do have single-use bathrooms. They don't want that either. All right, now you got somebody, there's a conflict here. We want everybody to be able to use a bathroom. All right, so they're gender fluid. Use that bathroom then. If you're male biologically, but you don't think you are, use the special. Oh, now they got to go to a special bathroom. How's that going to look? Oh, how does it look like Leah Thomas walking around in the women's locker room there at the NCAA swim tournament naked? Why not? All right, 855-839-1210. We'd love to get you in. Good for the Penridge School Board. It's just a common sense policy here. And speaking of common sense, at 2 o'clock, we're going to be joined by one or two members of Philadelphia City Council because 5 of them now, as I understand it, have moved to ban supervised injection sites. Their districts would cover about half the city. They're led by the woman who represents Kensington. 5 city council members are moving to prohibit so-called supervised drug consumption sites from opening in their districts. They're doing the same thing in Harrisburg.
Great. Kudos.
But I'm shocked to see these Philadelphia representatives do this right before the election. Oh, Dan, this can't be.
What's that?
Driscoll is one of, now that's not one of the Dillons, right? Is that the guy they tagged in for one of the Dillons?
I don't know.
No, he's a state senator, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, no.
This Driscoll guy, I think he took Bobby the Brain Heenan's spot. He
District
opposes
6.
it. He said that supervised consumption site in his district could attract a new open-air drug market, saying you fish where the fish are. Uh-oh, that guy's going to get in trouble comparing these drug dealers and drug addicts to fish. No, he's exactly right. Exactly on the money. Are they finally paying attention? All right, one thing, and then I'll give you the side question of the day. This from SaveJersey.com, tip of the hat to our buddy Matt Rooney. I'll cut to the chase with this. There's a directive Matt has at SaveJersey.com put out by the Department of Health in New Jersey. And it's about kids being immunized in the upcoming school year. So not now, but September beyond. And it appears, more than appears, I read it this way, the Murphy administration is looking to mandate COVID-19 vaccines, flu shots, and Gardasil in order for children to attend school through proposed rule changes. So, Dan, that's what I was telling with Holly Shapizi on Monday, if we can get her on. They reached out to supposed stakeholders to share their proposal privately, but it looks like they're doubling and tripling down. Now, to me, all of them are offensive. Okay, with every vaccine, we know the upside, downside. I've started to get flu shots in recent years, but to mandate the kid has to get that. But what about Gardasil? Here we go again. You know, for sexually transmitted diseases and things of that nature, Gardasil. Every one of these has a downside. Then, of course, the COVID. Haven't we learned through this, particularly with these younger kids, that it is not severe. And then the difficulties, say, with males, particularly that are age 15 to 18 that might be in schools. Haven't we learned about all that? So we're on this before they can get traction with this. But based upon this, it appears to me they're pushing to mandate this in the coming school year. We're not through this one yet, but they're getting ready to gear up with this. Would they dare? Yeah, they might. Even with all that's happened, they still might dare. All right, side question today. Don't forget Katie Ford here. This is a big race. I mean, how rarely do you see a state representative's race in Delco turn something that impacts our lives? And that would be the State House. Why are they spending $1 million? Because she was getting traction, even though she's only spent $26,000. And what card did they use? Just as I predicted, with almost all that money, abortion, 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 abortion. Abortion has become the new race card. It used to be they're all going to put you back in chains, Biden. Now it's abortion. Now they're driving every woman possible. Yeah. Now they need a new catchphrase for the abortion part of this. That's exactly what it's like, and we saw it play out in the midterms. So I'm told in some of the polling, up until recently, she was ahead. Now, speaking of polling, don't get nervous, get more determined. There's an Emerson poll out. Couple criticisms of it. Helen Gim is leading in this one, Dan. All right?
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Oh, no.
Sherelle Parker
Oh,
is in
no.
second, well within the margin of error. Couple criticisms. One, it's only 600 people they polled. Two, I don't think Emerson's a reliable pollster many times. Three,
How many people did they poll?
only 600.
Only 600.
Yeah, the Dom Giordano poll that we were working on, I thought, well, maybe 200.
I feel. Yeah.
Well, I still wish I had done my own poll this time. All right.
Wow.
The other thing is they have a very low number. They only have Sherelle Parker getting around 25% of the African-American vote. That's not going to happen. She's going to get over 50%. That's a big difference. And the poll is skewing wildly younger, under 35. And that's where Helen Gim's sweet spot is. But usually polls like this have people 50 plus, not under 35, where Sherelle Parker, Alan Dom, and some of the others would do very well. But of course, this has given energy to the mob in Philadelphia. So if you know anybody in Philadelphia and they're saying, why should I vote and all? Just tell them this situation. Tell them what's coming our way. You'll see it on Sunday, on Mother's Day. AOC, Bernie Sanders, the mob over in 7th Street with a big rally. Okay, side question. And this, I think, came from some of the stuff I say and from Reddit maybe, Dan.
Yeah.
I always say, I don't believe, it's ridiculous, that old wives' tale or husband's tale, there's no such thing as bad publicity. All publicity is good. Oh, my God.
Yeah, the saying's no publicity is bad publicity.
Right.
It's true.
Oh, my God.
You don't think so?
No.
I feel like Trump really built his, political success on that.
I think that's no.
No?
So if every day you're saying Trump had nothing but all kinds of
I don't
rape
think
charges and everything else.
Well, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It's
I
true.
mean,
Yeah.
imagine your publicity headlines, child molester.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
good publicity. I tells you it's good.
Especially in today's world. Now that you
Okay.
say it with
Yeah.
cancel culture and
Yes.
all. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I dispute that. By the way, that's the number one thing I'm going to probe, and I don't think we'll play it, Dan, until Tuesday or later next week. I took to the mattresses last night at a halftime of the Sixers. I'm working up my questions for Bill Maher. So I
Ooh.
love to have people. You have input. Rose got 2 or 3. I got DJ working on it. Who knows? Lorenzo might have a good question. But listeners at Dom Show 1210, I'm interviewing Bill Maher again on Monday, taping it after the show. And I find it's amazing what Bill Maher has been able to accomplish and the pushback against progressives. He's just a liberal guy. You may differ with him, but he's consistent with that. All right, so we're looking for one of these things that people say that you dispute. Make it as entertaining as you can.
A common phrase, a common wives' tale that you just don't believe in.
Yeah.
You know it's not true. Like,
Right. And I think I've convinced Dan there is such a thing as bad publicity. Are you kidding me?
I think nice guys finish last
All right.
is inaccurate.
Inaccurate.
So to a degree, like I think there are nice guys who have indeed finished first, and I think
Who would you say that is?
case in point, I think you look over to WIP. There was a guy on the morning show for a long time, just an absolutely fantastic individual, former Flyer Keith Jones,
Right.
who is now the director of hockey or president of hockey operations for the Flyers. He was just given the position to run the entire team.
We'll see though if he succeeds at doing that by being a nice guy.
But I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, Keith, I don't think he has much front office experience. He's been in front of a microphone for most of it.
Right.
I would venture to guess that a lot of his, being asked to do this is because he's such a nice guy.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
So disputing that. I think there are exceptions to any rule. I would agree. But by and large, who said that? I think it was Leo DeRocher, who was one of the worst humans, but apparently a great baseball manager. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. You get in. That's the side question. You want to get your name into the hat today to be a winner for the grand prize, a $50 gift card to Captain Chucky's. By the way, don't forget Captain Chucky's and that great union with Vera Pasta now, the lobster ravioli and the banging crab. They're wonderful. You can get them in time for Mother's Day. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. If Helen Gim does win, well, Dan, I was on when the major networks were calling the race in 2012 for Barack Obama by 11:28 that night. And the person who was co-hosting with me, no longer here, wanted to put a lid on it, call it a night. I could tell he was distraught. Okay, I get that. I mean, I am too, but you know what? I am staying on the ship. You got to comfort people in that moment. 11:28 that night, they're calling the election for Barack Obama over Mitt Romney. It was tough to take. There's a lot of times I was on the air when the Supreme Court, the first thing they said was Obamacare was over. And then they came back to say, no, John Roberts said it was a tax, but it could continue. You know what that was like? To be on the air after all that buildup and Obamacare escapes the Supreme Court because of John Roberts. But you can't say, good night, everybody, put something else on. You can't give up. So I'm demanding a recount right now, even before Helen Gim wins or loses. I want a recount starting now. Yeah, but there are no votes in. Start now. And keep on recounting until this nightmare is over.
Get him out there in the convention center.
Exactly. All right. 855-839-1210. Hit us on the side question at the end of your call. All that Katie Ford, big race right here in Delaware County. If we get 100% turnout of people that apparently crime is a big issue in that district. Figures, progressives, Democrats have been in charge there. They're in charge across the county, and they're going nuts. Is Delaware County a better place with Democrats in charge? I don't think so. 855-839-1210.
Hi, everyone. This is Stephanie Kelly from Emmons Roofing and Siding, and I have some exciting news to share. Emmons has partnered with SunPower, the top-rated home solar company in New Jersey. SunPower has been leading the solar industry for over 37 years and is the only U.S. solar company that's lasted longer than their 25-year warranty. Kill the bill. The energy bill, that is.
right, Dan, where do people see the show if we haven't told them enough? It's a Friday. Some good lunches going on out there.
I haven't even broken into my Lunchable yet, Dom.
All right. That's right.
I will
We
do
have to
that
get
here
them
soon.
as a sponsor.
I know, right?
Lunchable of the day.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHD. Again, YouTube.com/@1210WPHD. We are live with Dining with Dom, as we usually do every day from noon until 1. And Dom, I got to tell you, in the chat today, we were overrun by some spammers looking for, asking in ASL, which means age, sex, location, trying to find a date, it seems like. So I had to ban some people today.
The Dom Giordano show
Yeah, being
dating
overrun.
service there
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Let's get that out of the chat. I bring up the chat because there is a great community. Ipso facto mini join us every day, and great conversation happens over there. So again, youtube.com/@1210WPHD.
All right, so we got an update. They've captured one prisoner, not the Philadelphia police, but the marshals. Want to play you what they say. Then I'm going to give you a detail of how just crummy this criminal element is. And we still haven't gotten like an all-out, how did they do it? Nobody seems to want to tell us at the alleged prison in Northeast Philadelphia. Here's the U.S. Marshals. I can imagine if it were Tommy Lee Jones talking about capturing this guy and what the hell goes on here at the Philadelphia prison. Here's what they said.
We were conducting a surveillance operation in an area that we believe Nasir Grant was frequenting. And at about 10:20, 10:25, a male resembling Nasir Grant came out of a residence wearing full female Muslim garb and a head covering. That gentleman piqued our interest. He got into a vehicle. We followed that vehicle over here to the 2800 block of West Office.
All right. So we found it over there. Full head to toe female Muslim garb. You get it? You get the craziness that police have to deal with out here, the nonsense that's going on. But do you see an all out effort to demand that what went on in this prison is just beyond anything that you can imagine as far as their cavalier attitude to protecting the public? And I happen to see big battle going on, Dan, you may not have seen this, in the House in Harrisburg, because they want a special prosecutor to prosecute SEPTA cases now, not Larry Krasner. And the Democrats stood up, and rather than addressing crime and how much of it happens on SEPTA, and SEPTA's behind this, they said they're just trying to suppress your vote. Back to the voter suppression of Larry Krasner. But I think SEPTA's only charged like 35 people this year with crimes.
Yeah, let's continue giving this guy as much power as possible while he completely ruins the city. Yeah, great idea, Democrats.
But you would think SEPTA would have charged more people too, though. 35 have been charged this year. I mean,
that's it.
Yes, with all the nonsense that's going on.
We wonder why our trains are the way they are.
And that brings us to New York. And there's more. An eyewitness who was aboard that train when Mr. Neely was taken down and then sadly passed away. In the course of that, the person that did it, that subdued him, this witness says he was threatening people. He said, I don't care if I die, right in their face, gesticulating wildly. And we hear people saying still, you got to put up with that stuff. Why would this happen? He's being charged with second-degree manslaughter, but even only that charge, it's up to 15 years. Now, people are saying, well, wait a minute. Alvin Bragg, the smart thing to do here, they usually be doing something like this, is have a grand jury look at it to even determine if he ought to be charged, not Alvin Bragg. Now, I see that you got to take a look at this. Someone died in it. But the idea that he could go to jail for 15 years in this is preposterous stuff. It's exactly what happens when you have progressives, which Democrats are in the big city, every single one of them almost, running things. This guy, Alvin Bragg, doesn't care that he's under fire, that crime is running amok, that he's gone after a guy that some people think acted heroically. Whether he did or not is a tale of the tape at a certain point. But to charge him with a crime that he could get 15 years for, when crime is up tremendously in New York suburbs, we see it here in Philadelphia. I haven't been on a subway in forever. I think you're nuts. Well, it's convenient. There's a lot of people on there. You're dealing with a mentality in a place like Philadelphia where people are able to act out. They may be chasing each other. They may be firing weapons. They may be smoking crack. They may be having sex. God knows. And you're told, well, that's an urban environment. Shut up and enjoy SEPTA. You know, I mean, their ads are okay. Ride SEPTA. It's so convenient. Really? How about doing something about it? Well, they tried. They want to bypass Krasner because he won't do anything. And Democrats then say, you're just suppressing the vote. So we'll let you know if that bill passes, if they can get around him in that manner. Probably not likely. The current AG, appointed by Josh Shapiro, essentially, says, well, this would be too costly. And why are we doing this stuff? Hey, lady, why don't you ride the subway without your guards? How about that? How about if the new Attorney General, Dan, ride the subway? Let's say, I'm not even going to make it midnight. I'm not going to go crazy. Let's make the AG ride the subway about 3:30 or so when schools are getting out, et cetera. And just do it 8 to 10 times. And then report back to us what you think that people are overboard here after their misgivings, that they're afraid for their lives to ride the subway. All right, we got the side question, too, going. Don't wait to the very end, you know. We're not going to have a recency bias at like 2:40. Hit us right now. Hit us with that all-time phrase. A lot of people say it, but you think it's off the mark, like the publicity one, the nice guys finish last. There are a ton of them. Just hit us with that.
Bro Clem on Twitter.
Yes.
Good things come to those who wait.
Yes. I mean, patience is a virtue, but the line, you're going to be at the back of the line exhibiting more patience, I think, at that point.
Hey, so earlier in the show, you solicited questions for a Bill Maher interview coming up, and Way the Dice wrote in one for you.
Yes.
Says, in 2019, Bill Maher said an economic recession would be, quote, worth it if Trump does not get reelected in 2020. We have survived many recessions, he says. We can't survive another Donald Trump term. Does he still feel the same way?
All right.
I think it's a great question.
Okay.
No, he's I think he's changed even since then so much that I think his eyes have been opened as to, you know, what he was exactly saying there and how much havoc it's.
Well, I would say this, when it comes to the subject of Trump, Bill Maher is rabid. All right.
Is he still?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He's still. Yeah, I think he's still rabid. Yeah. On the other things, he's consistently intelligent. He's a liberal. He sticks to that. He's the best at calling out the woke cancel culture, mocking it as only he can. But when it comes to Trump, Dan, he's irrational.
Yeah.
Religion, I'm not sure if he's still as irrational.
I would assume so with the documentary that he did at one point.
Yeah.
But I mean, in a battle against wokeness, I think he is the number one soldier.
Oh, well put. That's exactly it. And his audiences reflect that more conservatives or moderately conservative are going to his shows. And he's coming to the Met on June 3rd, I think it is. So we'll have a lot to talk about. I think people are going to find it interesting. I expect I'll get a few people. There's no way you can talk to Bill Maher, et cetera. No, on Trump, though, I'm not going in with any assumptions about how he feels about President Trump. That is still there. I might ask him about what he thinks of this I could do, Dan. This is a good question. What he thinks of CNN giving a platform to Trump. Now, that's a good question, because that will put him at war with his instinct toward Trump and his instinct toward free speech, which he's a paragon of. All right, so it's 855-839-1210. Hit us on that side question. There's a million of them out there. And if you have a Bill Maher question, I'd love to get it. Big issues, big guests. This has been a particularly good week. O'Reilly was my favorite this week. If you missed it, telling us that he just heard from Trump right before he came on about the CNN experience and Trump's theory on, well, people may not like me. That's true. They don't have to. They want to go back to my policies. Let me say this on this. You know, would it kill him, particularly with the Jean Carroll case, to go easy on that? I ask you as a listener, do you really need to hear on that mockery of her? Because you know how that plays out. Just skip that stuff and stick on the policies. Stick on saying them in an entertaining way. I'm fine with that. And they're the ones that started with the January 6th and the 2020 election. All right. So he answered it. I just wish he'd pivot more, though. The abortion answer was brilliant. The Ukraine answer. Stick to that stuff. You can do your style and stuff that's happening now with Biden and go to the border. If I were advising, Trump ought to be at the border right now, don't you think? Cutting an ad right there, telling the American people, I stop this. There's no doubt about it. And Biden refuses to. It's overwhelming. Go to the border this weekend, cut a spot right there. Don't wear the golf shoes this time. I know he did that one time when he was walking around the border. All right, Katie Ford, special guest, coming up here on Talk Radio 1210. There are certain home maintenance chores we'd all rather not do, like repainting the exterior of your home every 5 years. Who wants to do that? Here's an incredible permanent solution to that problem, Rhino Shield. Now, Rhino Shield looks like paint, goes on like paint, but it never chips, cracks, or fades. It's ceramic coating. It's guaranteed for life. You never have to paint again. The local Rhino Shield owner, John Gilgee, is a great guy, friend of the program. I'm impressed with both the product and company. It's perfect for any surface. You get the beauty of fresh paint with the maintenance of vinyl. Even insulate your home. Comes with a 25-year guarantee that you can transfer if you sell your home. John meets with as many homeowners as he can himself, and they have helped thousands of Delaware Valley residents, including many of my listeners, upgrade the look and quality of their home. All you have to do is call John right now. He's offering 10% off for a limited time to my listeners. Visit rhinoshield.com or call 844-RHINO-99, 844-RHINO-99. It is Dom time. Big issues, big guest. And I'd say when something that we talk about all the time, how much it affects our lives is at stake. and that would be what the heck is going on in Harrisburg. Then, if Delaware County is able to decide that, makes a huge difference to get on Katie Ford, who joins us here on the Dom Giordano program. Katie, welcome in, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi, Dom. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I see that you have quite an accomplished background. Tell us what you've done in your life, Katie, before you've decided to run for office.
Well, thank you again for having me, Dom. I've had a great life. I've done so many different interesting things. Started, after high school, I went to EMT school and was a volunteer EMT for Lansdowne Fire Company. Then joined the military and was trained as a combat medic and spent 8 years doing that. Then went back to school after I had 3 kids and became a behavioral therapist for early intervention. So it's been crazy. But I like doing.
I don't see a pattern there, except that you want to help people. Certainly, that's what I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been my main motivation. It's something my family instilled in me and something that I thought it was really important to model for my own kids. So I love volunteering. I love being a part of the community. And it's just, public service for me. I really enjoy it.
Now, you must be an impersonator, really, Katie, because that background, and you just seem normal, down to earth. Not the villain being portrayed by Josh Shapiro in over $1 million of ads.
Yeah, nope, not at all. And how sad is it that they have spent $1 million plus to kind of come after me, and they haven't even filed their financial disclosure. So it'll be interesting to see if they do and who we find out is funding their campaign.
Well, before we get to the charge, we'll talk about the abortion thing, because that's become the card now, Katie, and you probably sense that's what they would do. In your district, give us an idea of the rough district in Delaware County. Where is your district?
Sure. In terms of abortion, our
No,
district
I'm sorry, Katie.
really,
I just meant geographically. Where's your different district?
Oh, well, we're, Upper Darby. We have a huge area. We have one of the largest school districts. We also have Clifton Heights, Collingdale, Darby Borough, and Alden. So we have a huge chunk of change over here in, as Heather Boyd calls it, our little town, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's your opponent. So
Yeah.
now, as I understand it, your background, you are pro-life, but you acknowledge, or at least this was a quote, it's sometimes hard to tell with the media, that a woman has a right to make a choice in this. You're not someone who is rabidly running on the issue of stopping abortions.
That's correct. I am personally pro-life. However, I've been clear that the existing law, I don't think is going anywhere, especially with a Democratic governor and a Republican Senate. I don't plan on changing it, and I don't think that other Republicans in the House are going to be looking at doing it as well. And my opponent clearly is very open to just letting it be a free-for-all, and I don't believe that that's okay either. I think there needs to be exceptions and parameters.
Yeah, that's exactly. Your opponent is exactly where any number of Democrats are, and yet they scream radicalism. And again, I've seen stories about your budget. Maybe you spend 26 to 30,000. They're spending $1 million. They have the media on their side. And I was told today by somebody really inside that at one point in some polling you were ahead. So they're scared to death. And what do they trot out? That Katie Ford is one of these people that's crazy about abortion, and you won't be able to get an abortion in Pennsylvania if she's elected.
Correct. And that's kind of what they're doing. And it's just sad because again, they're peddling lies and falsehoods. And, I'm out doing the work. I've hit 10,000 doors yesterday. I'm out 7 days a week talking to people, letting them know that I'm normal, that I'm not, crazy, and that I just want to do what's best for the people in my district. And, again, we're only as good as the people who come out to vote. So I'm just really urging everybody to come out and vote. And I didn't think I'd be one of those people who say every vote matters, but in this election, it really, really does.
Oh, I think it could be close here, without a doubt. And on the other side now, all this talk about protecting women, Yet your opponent, Heather Cohen, is a multi-insider with campaigns, etc., and apparently was knowledgeable about what Representative Sable, who had to quit, was at least charged with. If not, she might have even been more knowledgeable given all the rumors and seeming evidence there of his approach to women, which, shall we say, is not exactly pleasant. And yet she's running this campaign to be protecting women's rights.
Yeah, that's a joke. I don't know how else to say it. I think it's absolutely despicable, and I don't know how, at the end of the day, she's looking herself in the mirror. I just have never seen someone so fervently say that they're for women's rights, but here she is. She knew about what was going on, and even if she wanted to protect the privacy of the woman who came to her, I understand that, but then still do something about it. You can protect someone's privacy and then still go after the person who did it. There was no reason not to. And she continued to champion him, which she says, and is not true and is false and denies, but there's pictures of her with him touching his sign. I don't understand how you can be more of a champion for someone than that.
Yeah. One other area too, I've seen in the media that I've seen that there's a rise in crime there. And that's an issue because any place that connects to Philadelphia, everybody knows 69th Street, Upper Darby, whatever, even if they're doing good things, there's still going to be an overflow on crime.
Correct.
That's a critical issue for these near suburbs like Upper Darby and the other towns that you mentioned.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing an influx. And we're seeing things happen in our town because they're not being prosecuted correctly in Philadelphia, which is a huge problem. As the wife of a police officer, I have a lot of firsthand knowledge of what's going on because obviously my husband's working in this area. It's what I hear at the doors is, families don't feel safe. Everybody I go to now has a Ring doorbell, has a camera, and that makes me really sad. We didn't grow up that way. We didn't even lock our doors growing up. And Heather Boyd walks around saying, "Oh, I support the police," which is an absolute joke. She has been a huge proponent of defunding the police. And, I don't know at this point why anyone wants to be a police officer anymore. I can't imagine doing it. And I know that the morale is so low. And these guys used to be celebrated, and now they're, being called every name under the sun. And so that's a huge part of my campaign right now is just, I'm pro-police, I'm pro-military, get them the support they need to do their jobs because they can't do their jobs correctly without it.
Well, and you volunteered to protect us as a combat person to help protect in that, Katie. That speaks well of where your heart is and your background. So, and between now and the end on Tuesday, what's the best thing to do to help you? A website, volunteer, knock on some door? What is it you'd want people to do?
Yeah, if anyone wants to come out, I'm on Facebook. I do have emails. People in the community know me, know how to find me. I think every door I go to, I tell people, hey, just come find me. I did my announcement from the front steps of my house, so I feel like everyone knows where I am. Just come out and vote. That's the biggest thing I can say. Please, please, please come out and vote. If you care about your family safety, the cost of living, I'm the person for you. I love this community. I'm from this community. I'm not a plant, and I want to be the person who is the voice for you in Harrisburg.
Well, Katie, we certainly hope that's the case. And if you do get over the top, I'll just be calculating the figures spent against you. Certainly your background certainly sounds like someone who has put it on the line to help people in a variety of ways. And it's not bad. I come from a cop's family to be married to a cop. So that all speaks well for everybody. Katie, we wish you well. And again, this is a critical election. It's not just that district. It will who gets control in Harrisburg, which will really matter. Katie, thank you. Anytime. Please come back.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
All right. There is a woman who seems perfectly normal to me, Josh Shapiro. Well, look, ladies, I'm just telling you, Katie Ford, you know what she's going to do. You know what she's a Mastriano. I've seen her with that. By the way, Dan, we were told today that Josh Shapiro at the Inside Story thing has never met Doug Mastriano. Oh my God! If I met Doug,
him, like
If I met Doug Mastriano in person,
I think we have, haven't we?
not during the campaign. It may have been well before that. So, I just thought that was kind of strange, but they never debated. There was no reason. All right. So give me a reaction to Katie Ford. That would be a bit of an upset given how that district is skewed. But I was told that in various polling, she was slightly ahead. And it matters. It matters in your life who controls the assembly in Harrisburg. All right, phone lines. 855-839-1210. Don't forget the side question. Hit us with one of these everyday sayings that you flat out find to be just the worst. You don't believe them at all. Good things happen to those who wait. Oh, God.
Great one from Leslie today.
Yeah, what'd she have?
Takes a village to raise a child.
Oh, there we go. Yes, exactly right. That could have been a winner. I would have been tempted to go for that. 855-839-1210. You get on board. And you can see these progressive forces flexing their muscles, starting to mass. AOC, Bernie Sanders coming to town on Sunday with Helen Gim. This race, and what do they do?
There?
Yes, I think I am undercover.
Really?
I haven't. Yes, yeah.
So my whole thing is I wanted to go over there and do some like man on the street or something,
Yes.
but it's Mother's Day.
Well, true, but I have all that in the morning. We're taking road. By the way,
what are you guys doing for Mother's Day?
Oh, yeah. Well, by the way, Luke set this up. I won't say where, but he's in charge of setting up a brunch. So
my kind of guy.
I thought yes. I'm not a fan of the brunch. Roe's a fan of the lunch and thinks the brunch interferes with that.
I think brunch out of all options, including breakfast, lunch, dinner, brunch, and dinner.
Yes.
Brunch is by far the best option.
Oh, I know you do. You're Mr. Mimosa.
The best crossover. You have some from lunch. You have the eggs Benedict.
There you go. What's your tip for a good brunch?
What's my tip for a good brunch?
Yes.
I don't know if I have a tip for a good brunch, Tom.
Well, to order then.
If a place has an eggs Benedict on the menu,
there we go.
There's a good chance that they're going to be pretty good.
All right.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of brunch places now that don't have eggs Benedicts on the menu because it takes a lot of intensive. So you know what a Benedict is? It's a poached egg which takes boiling egg inside of a device inside.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of effort by the chef or the cooking staff. So if it's on the menu, you could kind of assume that they're putting some effort into their dishes and you're not just getting microwaved food.
A fan of the mimosa?
Love the mimosa. But I like the cranberry version better.
Oh my God. Boy, this guy crawls at this stuff. All right. I am going to give up pancakes for this and experiment with a waffle or two. That's what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
Yes, living wild on this one.
It's a poinsettia.
A poinsettia.
It's not a mimosa that I like.
A poinsettia.
Yeah.
I'll tell. We'll
very
try
manly.
this.
Very manly.
Oh yes, all kinds of
the
little
tall stemmed glass with the garnish on top of little cranberry and the
God.
Yeah.
All right, hit us on the side question at 855-839-1210. You can get in everything in play. Coming up at 1, we'll talk with Steve Feldman of Zionist of America. What are they doing over in Lower Marion? Calling a place Palestine that doesn't exist. It's Israel's 75th anniversary and celebrating the PLO. Wow, what a place. All right, you got to get in now, though, at 855-839-1210. Let me tell you, though, if you're tired of paying too much, Rescue Natural Supplements are rolling back prices to 2013 on top of Memorial savings all month long. That's right. For the entire month of May, you can buy 2 products, get 1 free, or buy 3 products, get 2 free on every single Rescue supplement. Combine decade-old rollback prices with free bottles for huge savings. Stock up on all your favorites, 1250 Omegas, cholesterol supporters, probiotic, and brand new health gummies are all on sale. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Don't miss out on this opportunity to save big. Rescue is over 50 products to target your health goals, and everything is on sale. Rollback prices, Memorial deals start now and last through the end of the month. So go shop res-q.com today, res-q.com. Dom Giordano's show. And Dan, usually I don't get into this boycott, not boycott, but this could be a good reverse, Dan. Moms for Liberty is a perfectly fine group. We'll probably have them on Monday, a representative, right? They're coming to town to hold their convention here because, surprise, they believe in liberty, Declaration of Independence, Constitution. They're at the Marriott in Center City. And this afternoon, ACT UP Philadelphia, the AIDS group, resurfaces, along with others, to protest. And they're not coming to June 29th, Dan, the Moms for Liberty.
Wow.
So, you may want to call. We'll give you the number and tell them if you dare. There's only one way to beat. I tell me if you think this is in bounds. Preemptively to say, you know what? If you take away, as our buddy Ilana Fishbein was canceled by the Sheraton, remember that?
Yeah.
Then I'm telling you right here and right now, I'm never doing business with you again. I'm not staying there the whole thing. Does that violate our no boycott rule when all we're doing is saying, look, you booked them, everything is fine. But if you take them out because of the pressure of this group, then I think it's warranted to say, guess what? We have more money than they do. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think the devil's advocate argument comes down to it's a private business. They can do whatever the hell they want, no?
Well, yeah, but I don't have to support them. And can I let them know in advance?
I do think it's especially something like this where you have something that's it's set in stone, or you have an agreement.
Dan,
and
that's my point.
Yeah, you can't renege on the agreement
right.
because of politics.
If they said, no, we don't do that type of stuff, you're too political, you're too X, and they told him, we reject your business, Dan, then I would say, I'll let you know and you decide.
Yeah.
But when it's already, you made plans. They have thousands of people
You're
involved.
Right. Yes.
And these clowns come out of the woodwork. And you know what? They're going to be there screaming. I've been at an ACT UP event. I told you that when Bush Sr. was in town and they were shaking what appeared to be blood at the Secret Service.
It's almost like a double. I don't mean to interrupt, but it's almost like a double negative because all you're doing is canceling something that was like it's canceling a cancel almost.
That's right. I think it's justified in this case.
So it's double negative and then you're justified because of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I see it that way. To tell them no. If they had rejected Moms for Liberty and all that, then you got to think, all right. So why would they get rid of them now? There's only one reason. These mobs. What are the odds, Dan, that Helen Gim will be there today with the bullhorn? It's in Center City and all. I just happened to be coming by with my bullhorn. My God.
It's hanging out my trunk, I just had the bullhorn in the trunk, had to pull it out.
I don't know who's more in my mind right now, Helen Gim or Tobias Harris. I don't know where to go right now.
Tobias?
Yes.
Really?
When he
not Joel?
When he got stopped, no. When he had scored 2 points yesterday. He's making $40 million. When he got blocked at the rim by Tatum, I would have dunked that ball if I were his size and height coming in there. Torn the rim down, collapsed on top of the guy. I'm not being stopped. You have to have a mentality. I don't care who it is. You're not stopping me.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, inexcusable. But
yeah, well, there's many.
I place the blame on Joel. I mean, the guy gave up 5 minutes left in the game.
Well, true.
And Harden showed us that he can still drive the lane and dunk it like a madman, and he just chooses not to. His second dunk of the entire year. It's frustrating.
Let me take Joe in Westchester to get one on the board on the side question. All right, Joe, what's that old saying you don't believe?
Well, the old saying, it used to be true, crime doesn't pay. But I think in these days, with the progressive DAs, even George Soros, I think many times it does pay.
Well put. In Philadelphia, it certainly pays. What do you mean? He gets you a bonus. That's a good start. Thank you, Larry Krasner. All right, coming up. Steve Feldman, head of the executive director, Zionist of America, with us. He's got another story in Lower Merion. It's stunning. Little kids with PLO flags and Israel's 75th anniversary. Tlaib wants to have an event that McCarthy is blocking in the House, celebrating or wishing that Israel was never founded, Dan, and she doesn't find that to be hateful. My God, you hate her. Just hater. Steve Feldman is next here.
Also, good point on these protests that you're talking
Yeah.
about. Ipso facto over on youtube.com/@1210WPHT. We're wrapping up over there today, but every day at noon, Dom is live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Ipso writes, another thing, what are the chances that 90% of these protesters are over the age of 30, which means they probably can't afford the Marriott in downtown Philadelphia, so they're applying to the wrong market.
All right. There you, yes.
Appealing
Yeah.
to the wrong market.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would ask the Marriott guy. You think these guys really are staying at your hotel?
Yeah.
Give me a break. All right. 855-839-1210. You get it.